For a long time, I've wanted to make something for my synthesizers that would improve cable management and allow easy transportation and a quick setup. So in this video, I designed a table that maximizes efficiency and is also pleasing to the eye. I really like how it turned out and hope it inspires you to do something creative with your setup. So without further ado, let's build this thing. The design was pretty straightforward. The table would have 2 layers with a space in between so that I could drill holes on top and put the wires underneath. There would be a 2-inch gap so that I could fit my hands under the table and organize the cables. The gap could also function as a storage area for picks, notebooks, batteries, a module, lighters, and whatever else I want easy and immediate access to. A friend gave me a nice maple plywood, and I bought a regular sheet of plywood that I had cut to 28 by 44 inches. I arranged my gear on the board that would become the top of the table and marked the locations where the wires would go and drilled 1-inch wide holes where the marks were. I then used a sander and sanded it at 3 different grits, starting with a more coarse grit and going to finer and finer grits. This way, the top of the table would be nice and smooth. I also did this for the plywood that would go on the bottom so that I wouldn't get splinters when putting in the cables. I used a red mahogany stain and spread a light layer evenly across the top. I let it sit for 15 minutes and then wiped off the excess and let it dry. I then got a 2x4 and cut it into 9 2-inch pieces. I screwed the pieces into the plywood at the edges and center, and now the 2 sides of the table are connected. The next day, I brought it outside and torched the edges to give it a nice framed feel. I then grabbed some Johnson paste wax, wheeled the table back into the studio, and applied a liberal layer to the top of the table. This will seal, protect, and add some shine to the wood finish. It will also lock in the charred smell from the burnt edges. I let it sit overnight again in the studio. I came back the next day and am very happy with how it looks and how smooth it is. Now it's time to set things up. I placed all my gear on top of the table and began to arrange my wires. I plug in my looper, synths, drum machine, and vocal effects and send all the cables to the recording device. I use Velcro to keep the cables a bit more orderly and tuck the excess under the lip of the table. I also tuck the cables in under the mixer as well. I center the pieces and step back to appreciate the work I've done. I'm really happy with the way it looks and how I can easily store things underneath the table when I'm not using them. It also has a really nice feel to it. I hope you enjoyed this video and can use it as inspiration to make something cool with your own setup. If you have any suggestions or want to share your experiences making something like this, leave a comment down below. Until next time, you've been blessed.